Hello students, welcome to our today lab practical session. So dear students, in our today session, we have learned regarding control statement. In our previous session, we have learned regarding various operators in C programming. So dear students, I think there is one question in your mind, sir, what is control statement? So dear students, as the name indicates, the statements that are used to control the flow of the program. Okay, or we can say that the statements that are used to control the flow activity of the program is known as control statement. Now dear students, what are the various types of control statements in C? So dear students, basically there are three types of statements in C. Our first statement is decision control statement. Our second statement is iteration statement. Our third statement is transfer statement. So dear students, basically what is decision control statement? So the decision control statements are those statements that are used to alter the sequential execution of the statement of the program depend upon the test condition. So dear students, the decision control statements are used to control the sequential execution of the statements on the basis of the test condition. So dear students, there are four types of decision control statements. Our first type is if statement, our second type is if else statement, our third type is switch statement, and our fourth type is go to statement. Now what is if statement? So dear students, the if statement is those statement which is used to control the flow of the execution. In this statement, we have given a condition. If the condition is true, then the block which is related to the true part is executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, program can execute it in normal flow. So this is our if statement. So dear students, this is our example of if statement where first of all we are entering the value of variable a from keyword. If we are entering the value of a that is greater than 25, then it will print the message the number is greater than 25. If we are entering the value less than 25, then it will print by message. So dear students, this is our example of if statement. Now we are covering if else statement. This is our if else statement. So dear students, what is if else statement? In case of if else statement, we have two block. One block is for true part and another block is for false part. So if our condition is true, then the block of true part is executed. If the condition is false, then the block of else part is executed. So this is our flow for if else statement. So dear students, in this example you can see here, first of all we are entering the value of variable n from keyboard. Then here we can find out whether the number that is entered is even or odd. So here we are calculating the modulo division of that specific number. If the mod of that number is equal to 0, then the number is even. If the mod is not equal to 0, then the number is odd. So here we have two block of statement. For true part the number is even, and for false part the number is odd. So dear students, this is our example of if else statement. Now we are covering if else if ladder. So dear students, whenever we have different test conditions or different test statements, then we have require if else if ladder. So what is the syntax of else if ladder? So you can see here, first of all we have if statement that contain a condition. If this condition is true, then statement 1 is executed. Further, we have else if part which contain test condition 2. If it is true, then statement 2 is executed. Otherwise, if it is false, then another else if part that is containing test condition 3, and if this condition is true, then statement 3 is executed. So similarly here we have number of statements on the basis of number of conditions. So whenever this condition is true, the block that is related to that condition is executed. So dear students, this is our else if else if ladder. Then we have next, that is switch statement. So dear students, basically sometime if we want more number of choices, then we are using if switch statement. So at last we have switch statement under decision control statement. So why we are using switch statement? So dear students, if we have number of choices, in that case we are using switch statement. So till now we have covered decision control statements. Now we are covering our next statement, that is iteration statements. So dear students, we can classify the iteration statements into two parts. One is entry controlled and another one is exit controlled. So dear students, what is entry controlled and what is exit controlled? So whenever if the condition is tested before the execution of body part, so we can call this entry control. If first of all the body part is executed, then the condition is checked, we can call it exit controlled. Okay, if the condition is tested first, that is entry controlled. If the body part is executed first, then the condition is tested, that is known as exit controlled. So dear students, basically you can see in case of C language we have three types of statement that can perform looping operation. So our first statement is while statement, another one is do statement, and third one is for statement. So what is while statement? So dear students, in case of while statement, first of all the condition is checked, and according to that condition the body part is executed, such like this. Then dear students, we have another statement, that is do statement. In case of do statement, first of all the body part is executed and then the condition is checked, such like this. Then dear students, we have third statement, that is for statement. In case of for statement, first of all we can initialize, then we can check test condition, and after that we can increment the value, and finally on the basis of this the body part is executed. So dear students, this is our third statement that come under looping, such like this. Here we have for loop. First of all we can initialize the value, then we can check condition statement, finally we can check increment statement. So dear students, this is our nesting of loops. But is nesting of loops? A loop inside another loop is known as nesting of for loop. So dear students, now we are covering our transfer statements, or sometimes we can call these statements jumping statement. So whenever we want our program to jump from a loop, then we are using jumping out statement or transfer statement. So dear students, if you want to exit from a loop, you can use break statement. Okay, if you want to exit from a loop, you can use break statement. Then such like this. Then dear students, if you want to skip a part of a loop, then you can use continue statement. So what is the working of continue statement? It tells the compiler to skip the following statement and continue with the next iteration. Okay, so dear student, at last I am giving switch statement. Why we are using switch statement? As I can tell you, whenever we have multiple choices, or we can say that the switch statement is a multi-based decision making statement which select one of the several alternatives based on the value of integer variable. So here you can see, first of all we can write switch, and in bracket we have expression. On the basis of this expression, we can execute the cases such like this. Here we have an example of switch statement. So here we are entering our choice. If we are entering a, small a, it will print this is a bubble. If we are entering small e, it also print this is a bubble. What if we are printing b before ball, then it can print this is not a bubble. So dear student, this is our example for switch statement. And at last we have left with go to statement. So why we are using go to statement? So basically the go to statement can cause our program to control to end up anywhere in the program unconditionally. So if you want to jump anywhere in the program unconditionally, then we are using our go to statement. So dear students, in our today's session we have learned regarding various control statements in C programming. So what we have covered today? We have covered our decision control statements, our iteration statement, and at last our transfer statement. In decision control statement, we have covered if statement, if else statement, if else if ladder statement, and at last our switch statement. In our iteration statement, we have covered while loop, do loop, and for loop. And at last, under transfer statement, we have covered break, continue, and go to. So dear students, thank you for joining our today practical session.